Have you ever gone on YouTube and somehow missed a Christian horror video? Come over here to the right and click that little bell to be notified of every time I upload. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Christian Hannah Horror here today, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about something. Okay, so a while back I did a video on the Halloween franchise, and the discussion was which movies I think are bad. And the video, I had a couple people kind of get aggravated with me because I didn't legitimately say, okay, this one's bad, this one's bad. But it was a thought-provoking video is what I was trying to do. So I apologize if for some people it wasn't the video you were looking for. It seemed like a lot of you did enjoy the way the video went. But, you know, it got my wheels turning, and I wanted to talk to you guys about something. On the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, was Freddy's Dead the right way to end the franchise? Now, I consider New Nightmare obviously its own entity in its own world. I think a lot of us would because it has nothing to do with the canon of the regular films. Not really. It's real world, so to speak, where all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies are, for instance, in that movie, legitimate movies. So let's talk about Freddy's Dead, and we're going to talk about this on the premise of, you know, products of their time. So let's kind of run through the franchise. We have the original classic, one of the greatest horror movies ever made. I don't think that's something that's highly debated. I think a lot of people just consider Nightmare on Elm Street one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Then we go into Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, a classic in its own right now. You know, back in the day, it kind of confused people. People didn't know what was going to go on with the series, etc., etc. 3 really got things back on track. You took elements of the first one, progressed it just enough, added new characters while keeping original characters and making you care about everybody. It really is one of the greatest horror movie sequels ever made. I think it is the greatest in the series. And surprisingly, it seems like a lot of people agree with me that Part 3 is one of the best in the series. Part 4 pushes the envelope a little bit further. You get a little bit more comedic Freddy, but not too funny. Freddy's still taken seriously. He's not punching one-liners like Roddy Dangerfield, but he's got a personality, but he's still presented in a good light. Part 5 I enjoy. I think it came out too quick. I think that a lot of people were still starting to get the movie on Part 4 on home video, but then you got Part 5 coming out. So then we get to the parts where we're going to finish off the series with Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare, 2 years later in 1991. So, was this the right way to end the series? And what I mean by that is not necessarily should there have been more sequels, but the way the movie was made. I will go on record and say I can sit down and enjoy Freddy's Dead without a shadow of a doubt. It's an enjoyable movie to me. I like Freddy's Dead. But I will be honest. I wish it would have been. I wish it would have came through in a different light. It's funny in the documentary on Never Sleep Again. They talked about there was a big influence of Twin Peaks in the movie. I just finished watching both the original series and the new series. Absolutely love it. And I think what they were trying to take from that was Twin Peaks had this element of fear and suspense, but with these great comedic, really ridiculous characters, but still trying to be under the surface, not blatantly, you know, just ridiculous characters, but so goofy in their personalities. And it translates perfectly in that setting in Twin Peaks. It translates perfectly with the characters, and it translates with the story. Well, the problem is, though, you're taking that element of a great TV show with characters that continually develop and you get more of, and you're trying to pack that kind of atmosphere into an hour-and-a-half movie. I didn't think translated as well. It wasn't so much the comedy, but the style of the comedy. The slapstick, when Freddy comes on screen and says, the kid's falling down from the building, and he's in the house and it's falling down, and then you see Freddy come over and say, "I'll get you my pretty and your little dog too." It doesn't really fit well for me. I didn't think it was good light for the character. I think it was a little too comedic. There are some great moments in Freddy's Dead. I really liked the style of Part 5 where Freddy was still mean And still, Freddy was almost funny. He was lovable in Freddy's Dead. He made you laugh. It wasn't scary at all when he came up. And here's the thing: I know, by the time you get to the sixth installment of a horror franchise, you typically are going to be rooting for the villain because, let's face it, when Friday the 13th Part 4 came out and then 5, you had already started rooting for Jason. He was the guy you wanted to see win. But with Freddy's Dead, I thought that it was just a little too comedic. Granted, I still enjoy the film, but I would have liked to seen more of a personality of Part 5 in it, because I thought Part 5 had a good personality, where he had moments, like Bon Appetit and stuff, but he was still presented as evil and in a dark light. So I do think that was one instance where a big influence from something. That just goes to show you, in my opinion, that you can't always take an element of something that you really like and put in something else. It just doesn't always work. There has to be these magical elements that come together to make these things right. And I think using Twin Peaks as a great influence, a stylistic influence on this movie, didn't translate well. It wasn't the best choice to use. So that's my opinion on it. Love to know what you guys think about Freddy's Dead. Was it the right way to end the franchise? Should they have done a totally different style of movie? Should they have done more sequels instead of doing a new Nightmare and trying to reboot the whole interest in Freddy Krueger once again? Or should they have just left well enough alone up to after Part 3 or so? Would love to know you guys' opinion on this. As always, Christian Hannah Horror. We will see you guys next time.